Welcome, friends, to another exciting episode of A VGM Journey, and I'm your host, The Messenger. The track that we're playing in this week's show is Daddy Mulk from the game The Ninja Warriors, and that was composed by Hisayoshi Ogura. Got a real fun show for you guys this week, a few nice requests, and maybe not so great sounding commentary from myself, but that's alright. I promise that the music definitely overshadows this. And I say, let's get right into things. This next track is coming from Game & Watch Gallery 4. The track is Rain Shower, and that was composed by Riyou, Kinugasa, and Kengo Hagiwara. That track that you just listened to, that was Rain Shower from the game Game & Watch Gallery 4, and that was composed by Riyou, Kinugasa, and Kengo Hagiwara. I love Game & Watch Gallery 4. It is my favorite game in the Game & Watch Gallery series. And if you're not really familiar with Game & Watch Gallery, it is a collection of Game & Watch games that also have remakes of them with Mario characters. And they usually have some kind of updated gameplay and added music. I mean, that's where this song's coming from, is the remake of Rain Shower. And in the original Game & Watch Rain Shower, you play as this guy who is trying to make sure that his clothes on his clothesline don't get wet from falling raindrops, and you have to maneuver and position the clothesline so you could dodge all the little raindrops. And it was pretty cool. And the updated modern version has you playing as Mario, who's pretty much doing the same thing with clotheslines, except instead of clothes, it is other Mario characters, and Bowser is throwing these paint-filled balloons, and Mario's trying to make sure that his friends don't get soaked by these balloons. It starts off pretty simple, pretty slow, but then it really speeds up. And that's where a lot of the challenge is from, is trying to work with multiple of these clotheslines and having to make real quick decisions. And the thing that I really dig with the soundtrack for Game & Watch Gallery 4 is that it was an early Game Boy Advance game, and that the soundtrack still kind of retained its 8-bitness from the Game Boy and Game Boy Color games of the series, but you can also tell that it's on a lot stronger hardware. I mean, I know a lot of people don't really like the sound capabilities of the Game Boy Advance, but I think it worked well for this soundtrack. And I think as a little added extra homework assignment for you guys, I think you guys should check out episode 9 of the video game music podcast, The VG Embassy. So I went on that show with Ed Wilson and talked about the Game & Watch Gallery games, and I did gush about Game & Watch Gallery 4, so it's really good stuff. I think it's a good time to move on to our next track, and this is a request from listener Meatbug. He wanted me to play Raptor Rap from the game Jurassic Park, and that was composed by Jonathan Dunn. That track that you just listened to, that was Raptor Rap from the game Jurassic Park. It was composed by Jonathan Dunn, and that was requested by Meatbug. So thank you, Meatbug, for that track. I thought this track was really cool, and it had a little bit of everything. It was moody, it had a kick-ass beat to it, and did I think it fits Jurassic Park? Not really. And I want to say the game itself is okay. It goes for a top-down Zelda-like style, and the Super Nintendo version of the game also has these sections where you go in the office buildings and it turns into a first-person Doom-like style. So in some ways, the gameplay is a little interesting, but the soundtrack is the highlight of the whole game. And I'm really glad that Jonathan Dunn just went for his own thing. So I don't know if it would have been as cool if they just took the Jurassic Park theme or any of the John Williams score. And I want to say once again, thank you, Meatbug, for this track. We're going to move on to another request, and this time coming from Hammock, and he wanted me to play the Results theme from Mickey's Speedway USA, and that was composed by Ben Cullum. All right. That track that you just heard, that was Results from the game Mickey's Speedway USA. It was composed by Ben Cullum, and this was requested by Hammock. So thank you, Hammock, for that request. Man, I really wasn't expecting this from Hammock, but then I realized, oh wait, this is a Hammock track. It's fun, but it's also really chill too. And I think it has to be, because after a real tough race of fast moving cars and hard thrills and all that. You just need to unwind and let it all in. And the whole soundtrack just sounds like a whole lot of fun. It doesn't try to be serious, and I don't think it tries to be overly goofy either. Even though there is this one track that has water dripping noises as the beat, which I thought that was pretty interesting. And for a game that was developed by Rare, I'm surprised that they didn't really go with their heavy hitter composers like Dave Wise or Graham Norgate or even Grant Kirkhope. So I couldn't find too much information on Ben Cullum, other than he also composed music for Star Fox Adventures. And I think that Ben did a really great job on this soundtrack. And I think music-wise and for the Nintendo 64, I think Mickey's Speedway USA is kind of an underrated gem. And I definitely want to play more music from it on the show. So once again, Hammock, thank you for that track. I think we're going to move on to something a lot moodier and a lot darker sounding. And I actually brought this track to VGM Fight Club, which is hosted by the Last Rican. And this is coming from Paradise Killer. The track is The Sarcophagus, and this was composed by Barry Topping. That track that you just listened to, that was the Sarcophagus from the game Paradise Killer, and that was composed by Barry Topping. And that's going to just about do it for the show this week. If you like what you've been listening to, have your friends check out the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever podcatching service that you can think of. I'm more than likely going to be on there. You can email the show at vgmjourney@yahoo.com. And you could also check us out on Twitter at VGMJourney. You can also check out my friend Yadude on twitch.tv/Yadude, which I will provide a link for that in the show notes. And every Sunday, he's been hosting Video Game Jeopardy, which I am sponsoring the VGM category for it, and I've also been participating as well. And I gotta say, I've been doing pretty well. And he streams that every Sunday at 7 Central Time. And we're going to play things out with one more track. And this is coming from Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. The track is A Phantom Pain. And this was composed by Ludvig Forssell. Have a good week, everyone.